What's going on, guys? No, I said I was going to do a full day of eating on a non-training day, but I had some changes to my diet from my coach. I decided to take the time to make sure that I was getting all the macros correctly, getting everything weighed out correctly, and to be honest with you, it's pretty low food because you're trying to dig off this last bit of fat before getting on stage. So, last thing on my mind was a fucking camera. But yeah, I got it dialed in, got it feeling a lot better. Got a little bit more food today, so lower than what training days have been in the past, but still enough to get some hard fucking work done. Today's a back focus day, so that's one of the main points of this mesocycle is to bring out the weak points in the back. So get them got the little bit extra food today, comparatively speaking, and there's it's a big good training day. A few things that have changed what I'm doing though. Cardio's gone up 30 minutes a day, fasted cardio. Step count went from 8,000 to 12,000, so there's kind of more of a slow burn that's not causing as much systemic fatigue, as opposed to doing like 45, 50 minutes of cardio instead. Just getting the steps in over the day. Got a little snow here last night, so just kind of walking around in my house like a fucking weirdo. But I've got a walking pad coming in on Friday, so, that will not be a problem again. This morning I had 100 grams of oats, 100 grams of blueberries, 40 grams of protein powder for breakfast. The only thing that really changed in that is I like water as opposed to using like almond milk in it or something. So instead of the 200 grams of almond milk, what I'm using is the fucking water instead, just because it tastes better to me like that, right? But yeah, pretty much from this point forward until I'm done eating for the day, I'm going to be trying to, at least show you what I'm eating and, kind of talk through with the day, with the workout and everything, and I got my fucking microphone here today. I'm not going to forget it. So you can listen to me yapping between sets while I'm working out too. But yeah, let's hop on over to the pre-workout meal. All right, so got a pre-workout meal here ready. Super plain, super simple. 300 grams of jasmine rice, 100 grams of green beans, and then 150 grams of baked chicken. Right. The only thing that really gets added outside of this is going to be 100 grams of pineapple. So the thing about these pineapple rings is they all weigh 40 grams, right? That's the cool thing about it getting fucking canned. One, it's cheaper. Two, it is the exact same measurement just about every time because it's factory made and they do everything on a like giant cutting line with robots or whatever the fuck they do, right? But I know that there's about 40 grams a piece. So instead of trying to measure out a half of one or cutting up a half of one, what I'll do is pre-workout, since I've already got 300 grams of rice. All right, cool. So I'll eat 2 of these rings. It'll be 80 grams of pineapple, meaning that I can have up to 120 grams with my next meal that also has 100 grams. So it still comes out to the 200 grams that I'm supposed to eat, but it's split up over those 5 rings, 2 being pre-workout, 3 being post-workout. But, yeah, we're going to slam this, and then we're going to get 15 minutes of walking in, let the food settle for a little bit, going to drink about probably 8 ounces of coffee, and then take the Noopept with it as well. And that's just because, like I've discovered over trial and error, it usually takes about an hour for Noopept to kick in for me. And then the focus is all there and everything. And then pre-workout stack is going to be, a little bit of pink Himalayan salt, or Himalayan pink salt, Mutant Gear, just because, they've got some good EAAs. It gives me something tasty to kind of sip on. I'm doing other stuff. 5 grams of creatine monohydrate. But, yeah, it's going to be a good training day. Back's always interesting because it's always like, okay, well, how does the form look? Like, fuck how heavy the weight is. I can train to failure within this rep range. What I care more about is if I'm actually engaging the lower ladder, I'm actually engaging the upper back, whatever I'm working on specifically, which I'll kind of get into in a little bit. But bone apple teeth, and let's get to work. All right, just got down there 15-minute walk post-meal. Help with digestion and I get a little extra steps in. But yeah, now we're about to head out and fucking, go hard in the paint for back. 0 week, nothing left on the table. No gas left in the tank for anything. Concentric failure for every set. And just making the most out of it. Being 4 weeks out, I'm not sure I'll have a chance to train this hard again before I get on stage, so I want to want to be able to soak it in and make the most out of this week and everything that I get to do. Even with leg day not being perfect though, like I'm still pretty fucking banged up, which is good. It's like, okay, cool. That was, for the most part, everything I fucking had. There's not much more I could have given it, which is what I want, especially on a week like this. So, it's good. It's not a bad thing. Just getting everything done that I can this week, training as hard as I can, trying to get every ounce of growth stimulus, every ounce of hard work done that I can get done, so that whenever I do step on stage, because it's not going to be perfect. It's my first time ever. This entire prep has been just learning curve after learning curve after learning curve. But I still want to be able to step up there and say, I worked my ass off to be here. Whether it's 10th place, 2nd place, fucking 3rd, 1st, who cares, right? What matters is that you know that you did everything in your power that you could have done to be the best that you could be on that day. So yeah, feeling pretty philosophically heavy. A lot of resolve going into this. I'm excited. So yeah, let's get the fuck to work. All right, so we got everything set up here. Camera's nice and tilted, looks nice and cool. Normally I do it with since we got the 2, it's labeled at 90, and it only pulls on one side, so I'm pulling 90 pounds with this. Last week it was 13 reps with 1 in reserve, but the next jump up was a 10-pound jump, and I'd rather hone the form, get it more perfect, and maybe go to 15 or 16 reps to failure with good form, and really getting that target muscle group, which is going to be the lower lat in this case, instead of go up and weight, get sloppy, and not get everything that I could out of it. But so one side of this, here we go. So a warm-up set on it. Never mind, we're going for the progress rate in the 100. Load it in half, I'll take it. 100. See if I can actually catch my form better on this one.
Well, it's just one set for those, and then cable flexion rows after that. So, unfortunately, cable flexion rows are kind of light comparatively speaking, even though it's got both arms, just because, kind of getting cooked with this exercise going into it. But yeah, get a little rest time in and then get that next set. And this one, same thing, the focus is the lower lat. All right, just cable flexion row. Yeah, it's a little bit more compound than single arm movement, but bringing to the lower lats is kind of the whole point of this mesocycle, or at least one of the points. So the idea of the form is, I want to try to drive my wrists into my hips as my chest is coming up, so I get more of that lat engagement. Does that mean going a little bit lighter sometimes so that I can get mechanical tension on the right muscle group and get failure with the lower lat being the limiting factor? Yeah, but I'm not trying to fixate on numbers. I'm trying to fixate on intensity of effort, the number of repetitions that I'm supposed to be around, and then making sure that my form is good so that I'm actually getting the mechanical attention applied to where I want it to go. But 2 sets of this, let's get after it. It's like 12 or 13. I don't fucking know. I'm gonna have to watch that one back. But again, back's been kind of a wild card for me because with it being such a big muscle group and me not really understanding how to engage the lower lats more, but figuring that out as time has gone on, the numbers have kind of fluctuated. Because I started doing these cable flexion rows, 200 pounds, but I was getting less out of my lower lats than I could have gotten if I would have lowered the weight and really focused on the mind muscle connection, to have that squeeze and that concentric, really focus on the lower lat instead of just trying to move the weight. So and that was 160 pounds, but my lower lats are fucking screaming, they're on fire, they burn like a motherfucker. It's very clear, very apparent right now that I was able to keep the tension there with what I was doing. So, I'd rather simulate more growth at the 160 pounds than, have some kind of I don't know, pride or, barrel chested freedom fighter feeling from doing it 40 pounds fucking heavier, but getting less out of it. Like, the idea is to grow. It's to look bigger. It's to simulate that growth. It's not to throw around the heaviest shit in the gym. Yeah, I roughly get about 2 minutes of rest in between sets. This shit, but yeah, first movement was one working set. This one's two. Next one is also one. And then I've got one movement, but two working sets for chest. And then, just fucking bicep curls. Or I got some shoulder work today too, which I'm probably gonna film though, just because like I swear by the exercise that I'm doing with that, as far as like making my shoulders grow more. It's a very humbling exercise, but shit works. Yeah, so pretty much film this next set. Film the next set for back, which is machine high rows with the supinated grip. And then film the pec deck flies, mostly just for myself so that I can look back at my own form and be like, okay, am I keeping my chest up? Am I shredding at my elbows as much as I can at the top? Am I getting as much flexion as I can at the top? Am I getting full range of motion at the bottom? But it's kind of why I wanted to get more active with, filming shit, just so that I could, have this look back on and kind of critique myself, and then also have shit to send my coach. And then I'll probably be cropping videos here and there, using for Instagram posts, just what I'm doing during the week, so I can be more fluent with that, But I don't know, that feels like a bit about 2 minutes. Probably too long. It's all right, that will just work harder. $12, $13, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and recount all that shit. But I feel confident in saying there wasn't a whole lot more I was gonna get out of that one. On to the next. All right, last back movement for the day. So last week I did this with 230 for 12 with one in reserve. So that's gonna be 2 plates on each side, and that's 25 on each side. We're about to find out if I was bullshitting myself or not, or if I was using shit form or whatever the case was. Versus groups, because I'm not trying to train my good today, I'm trying to train my fucking back. That was like 10.75 before parts just kicked in. 230 is still a lot of reach for that. So with one in reserve for 12, that was not accurate, but it's okay. Now I know the future. All right, so we got 2 sets of this. These I'm pretty sure were pretty clean, so that number should be accurate. 190 for 12 and 10 with one in reserve last week, so we're gonna reach 195 this week for 12 and fail more if that's what it comes to, and then 10 to fail more if that's what it comes to. But I got a little blood flow, got some feeler sets in. Just get the fuck after it. Load and a half, an extra 5 pounds on it. But without having a training partner yelling at me to do shit right, like looking into the corner of my eye and going based off feel, I felt like most of those were pretty solid. I guess I'll be able to take a fucking look back at it and critique myself later. You know, send it to my coach. I'll tell him what he thinks, what I need to change. You know, fuck, dude. Those are never fun. Don't get wrong, like the contraction's great, the squeeze is awesome, the pump's magnificent, but oh, dude, they hurt. And another minute rest, and then pretty sure it's just one set of failure. The chest supported dumbbell lateral raises, which lately has been my favorite exercise for delts. Again, not because it's fun, just because like the stimulus is insane. It doesn't take a lot of weight. You know, you can really just kind of go ham on it, and at least I can go ham on it and get a lot out of it. You know. Yeah. Then after that, it's just going to be bicep curls, and then some jam press. But if I filmed that, I'd be like just for Instagram or just like something my coach be like, "Hey, am I doing this right?" Like, I don't know. I think my YouTube videos are fucking long enough. But last ever test. Let's get after it. Fuck that, drop that. Oh, I guess that's all she fucking wrote for that today. Ow, I kind of like scrape myself. This pad's not quite as soft as I thought it would be. But, yeah, I mean, I want to get more out of that one. But, you know, I just wish I was stronger or, you know, better so that I could. I think I'll struggle with that, you know. So, clean up after myself over here. And, go hand on shoulders and, yeah. Hopefully I won't be second guessing myself when I'm training hard enough. I can't have been more than like 12 complete reps, but you know, I can already tell either weight needs to go down or form needs to get clean way the fuck up. But we're in the game film and go from there. But that is by far my favorite delt exercise, just because of the progress that I've seen on it, regardless of how good or not so good my form may be. Well, that was a back day.
Probably gonna throw in a set of the jam press that I did, because I ended up filming one set just for my coach and everything. And I don't know, I was like, fuck it, why not? Just throw it in there. About to run over to GNC, got to re-up on some EAAs. Running a little low on vitamin C and vitamin E, so I'm going to re-up a little bit on a few of those things. But that's that. Run back to the house and then give you the rundown of what a post-workout meal looks like for me. It's my funnest meal of the day by far, but it's also like the least filling, if that makes any sense. You know, but yeah, gonna hit the GNC, get to the house, and then we'll talk over what the fun meal looks like post-workout. All right, so post-workout meal, super plain, super simple, but it's a lot of fucking fun. It's gonna be about 120 grams of Frosted Flakes, 50 grams of whey protein isolate, and then about 200 grams of almond milk, and then another 100 grams of pineapple. But again, since I only had 80 grams of pineapple pre-workout and it's supposed to be 100 grams, I'm gonna have 120 grams now. So it comes out to the 200 grams. It's just less math in my head. All right, but yeah, this is what that glory looks like. I don't mix the protein powder with the milk just because I like it better. It feels like there's more volume whenever I'm eating it, you know, like in the cereal itself. But yeah, I'm going to shut down, take some magnesium glycinate on top of it, and then move on. All right, so from here forward, what we're going to have here, again, something real simple. It's going to be cod, 200 grams of jasmine rice, and then 100 grams of green beans. And with the cod, it's 175 grams raw weight. Well, how do you you're not eating raw fish half the time. I'm sure shit not eating raw cod. So let me tell you exactly how I figured out the conversion, right? So on my low calorie days, it's 250 grams of raw weight white fish. So I got the cod, and then one time I weighed it out to 250 grams raw. Okay, so I weighed that out, and then I cooked it. After I got done cooking, I weighed it out. It came back as about 180 grams cooked. So from there, you take that conversion, specifically with cod. I'm not sure if it varies from halibut or whatever else, right? But specifically with cod, you know that whatever the raw weight of it is, all you have to do is take the cooked weight of that one time and then find out, okay, so what percentage of this is this? And what I found out was that 180 grams is about 72% of 250 grams. From there, every time that I make this conversion, so 175 grams, what's 72% of 175 grams? That's 116 grams. You just do that, you remember it once, write it down, do whatever you have to do. Bottom line is you can get the same measurements and exactly what you need every time. All it takes is learning how to operate a calculator and Google. Or ChatGPT, whatever the fuck you want. But yeah. About to throw this in the microwave, chow down on that, and then we only got one more meal left for the day. Psych, bitch, we're not eating yet. First, we're going to do a little posing practice. Not a whole lot, but just something so that we can work on the weaker points. So pretty much everything in men's physique. And then I'm just kind of seeing what's kind of changed with classic physique, because I think some things have kind of changed as far as being able to tell when I'm belly breathing quite as much. We'll see. So for the men's physique posing, the biggest thing for me is just trying to figure out that back pose and everything like that. Everything needs work, of course, is because it's my first time ever doing any of this shit. So it's all kind of playing catch up and learning curves and all that good stuff. But it's slowly come together. I'm at least understanding a little bit more about how to get my shoulders wider and look wider. So I think it's getting a little bit better. Now, the classic poses, something that I'm noticing is, I mean, conditioning's pretty much the same. Abs are starting to shine through a lot more, which is good because they're starting to shine through a lot more. You know, it's becoming an even stronger point in my physique. But the downfall of that is you can really tell when I'm fucking belly breathing now because the cuts are a little bit deeper and it's a lot more obvious. So that's something I got to kind of, be cognizant of going forward and make sure that I don't fuck it up again. All right, so last meal of the day, it's going to be for protein, kind of a combo, just because I was rolling low on shrimp. So it's going to be a total of about 150 grams of a mixture between cod and shrimp, and then 100 grams of green beans, 300 grams of sweet potatoes. Probably what I'm going to do for that is throw in some cinnamon to it, add a little bit of flavor, mix it up, and then heat it up. And then 50 grams of sauerkraut. The next and close everything out for me. Other than that, nighttime supplements are pretty much the same as daytime supplements. The only difference is I take NAC and N-acetyl L-cysteine at night, and then I take magnesium before I go to bed. But yeah, and that's full day of eating along with training.